Author presentation on Eric Carle by Caitlin Drawn. Eric Carle was born on June 25, 1929 in Syracuse, New York. As a young boy, he was a drawer and asserted that he forever would be a scribbler. While in kindergarten, he was fascinated with large sheets of paper, wide brushes, and bright colors. Just after he began first grade, Carle and his family moved to Stuttgart, Germany, where he obtained the rest of his education prior to college. Once Carle and his family relocated to Germany, they became living in a country fueled towards war, with Hitler reigning. In 1939, World War II began, and Carle's father was absent from his life for 8 years, and this was due to service in the German army, as well as later location within a Soviet prisoner war camp. During strict schooling, he received encouragement from the art teacher Carle, who praised his drawings. Carle secretly introduced Carle to abstract, expressionistic, and modern art. This was very risky during this time period because Hitler claimed that these forms of art were degenerate. At this time, it was absolutely forbidden to practice these forms of art. Carle was the one that influenced and ultimately drove Carle's love of art. Carle entered this fine arts academy and began designing posters for the Information Center in Stuttgart. Upon graduating from this prestigious art institution, he felt as though he was prepared enough, and he was also confident enough in his artwork to move back to the United States with a portfolio of his work in his hand and ready to go. He soon found a job as a graphic designer in the promotion department of the New York Times. Soon after arriving to the United States, Carle was drafted into the United States Army and was stationed back in Stuttgart, and this is where he met his first wife. Upon discharge, the two moved back to New York, had 2 children together, but they eventually separated in 1964. In New York, Carle joined an advertising agency and became an art director. Carle created a particular ad with a red lobster that struck the eye of Bill Martin, Jr. Martin, a highly respected educator and author, asked Carle if he would illustrate one of his stories that he had already written. The collaboration between Carle and Martin resulted in the book Brown Bear, What Do You See? This ignited Carle's lifelong career, leading to his writing of his first book, 123 to the Zoo, which was quickly followed by The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Today, more than 145 million copies of his books have sold around the world. Carle utilizes the technique of collage. He first paints over colored tissue paper with acrylic paint. He paints using a variety of brushes ranging from wide brushes to narrow brushes. He also paints using his fingertips, sponges, burlap, and any material bumpy enough to create texture. Once it's dry, he cuts out shapes in the colored paper. These shapes he uses to form scenes and characters within his stories. The theme of Carle's stories generally revolve around his love for nature. When he was growing up, him and his father would take walks around in the forest. During their walks, his father would tell him about how all the insects and animals they saw live and grow. This led to the major themes of growth and discovery within Carle's stories. Carle writes and illustrates in a way to bridge the gap between home and school for a child. Knowing that beginning school for the first time can be a traumatic experience for a child, Carle writes his books in hopes to counteract that fear and replace it with positivity. Carle realizes that children are curious, while also believing that children are eager to learn. Through his books, Carle shows that learning can be both fun and fascinating. The book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, begins with a small egg resting on a leaf. From the egg hatches a very, very hungry caterpillar. In the following week, the tiny caterpillar eats pears, oranges, apples, ice cream, cupcakes, and so much more. This gives him a stomach ache. He then decides to eat green leaves, which makes him feel much better. The caterpillar, now fat and full, builds himself a cocoon. After several weeks, the cocoon breaks and reveals a beautiful butterfly. This is a section from the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. It reads, "The next day was Sunday again. The caterpillar ate through one nice green leaf, and after that he felt much better." The Grouchy Ladybug is a book about a very grouchy ladybug who loves to bully other insects and animals. The Grouchy Ladybug first picks a fight with another ladybug who stood up to the Grouchy Ladybug. and he did not expect anybody to stand up to him, so he decides to go pick a fight with someone much larger than him. The grouchy ladybug then encounters a yellow jacket and then a stag beetle and so on, with the animals getting bigger and bigger as the grouchy ladybug went along. The grouchy ladybug then tries to pick a fight with a whale. The whale picked him up by its fins and threw him all the way back to land. The grouchy ladybug flies all the way back home, and he's tired and he's hungry, but when he gets back, that ladybug that he tried to pick a fight with earlier told him that he could eat the aphids on his leaf. This is a section from the book The Grouchy Ladybug, and it reads, "At 3 o'clock, it ran into a rhinoceros. 'Hey, you,' said the grouchy ladybug. 'Want to fight?' 'If you insist,' said the rhinoceros, lowering its horn. 'Oh, but you're not big enough,' said the grouchy ladybug and flew off." Brown Bear, What Do You See?" is a book that doesn't necessarily have a specific plot, but instead the narrator asks animals what they see, and typically the answer is often another animal. This book features a blue horse, a yellow duck, a goldfish, a teacher, a purple cat, and much more. This is a section from Brown Bear, What Do You See?" and it reads, "We see a brown bear, a red bird, a yellow duck, a blue horse, a green frog, a purple cat, a white dog, a black sheep, a goldfish, and a teacher looking at us. That's what we see." In 2002, Carle, with the assistance of his wife Barbara Carle, being his second wife, founded the Eric Carle Museum of Picture Books Art. It is located in Amherst, Massachusetts, and the museum is dedicated to children's book art. It was the first full-scale museum dedicated to international and national picture book art within the United States, and since its opening in 2002, the museum has hosted approximately 325,000 visitors. These are only some of the awards that have been given to Eric Carle throughout his lifetime. The Lifetime Achievement Award from the Society of Illustrators in 2010, the Laura Ingalls Wilder Award from the Association for Library Service to Children in 2003, Silver Medal from the City of Milano, Italy in 1989, the Knobscot Reading Council of the International Reading Association in 1995, the 1995 David McCord Children's Literature Citation in Framingham State College, the Japan Picture Book Award presented by Mainichi Newspaper for Lifetime Achievement in 2000, the Kurt Vonnegut Jr. Literature Award presented by the Indianapolis Marion County Public Library in 2008, and many, many more. Eric Carle is literally my favorite children's book author in the entire world, so I end this presentation with a quote from him that I genuinely love. It says, "Simplify, slow down, be kind, and don't forget to have art in your life."